a question will be asked. The first question. The oldest question in the universe, hidden in plain sight. The question that must never be answered. The question you've been running from all your life. Doctor Who. Doctor Who. Doctor Who.
The preceding clip gave you an idea of the many faces of the popular sci-fi character known as the Doctor from the BBC show Doctor Who. Why does the Doctor make such an excellent subject for a case study regarding personality? It was perhaps one of the most blatant marketing ploys ever. BBC Television, when they realized they were losing the original actor for the Doctor Who series, threw in a plot twist. The Time Lords, a race of beings with two hearts, possessed a unique ability. When mortally wounded, rather than die, the Time Lord would regenerate into an entirely new being. Still a Time Lord, still two hearts, but apparently man or woman. And so we have the Doctor, a man of many faces, many personalities, many stories. We have chosen to highlight only the actions and personalities of a few of the latest incarnations of the Doctor, namely 10 and 11. We feel that these two represent the best of the Doctor and serve to provide many examples to illustrate various theories of personality. A common mistake among viewers who are unfamiliar with the show is to refer to the main character as Doctor Who.
Hello. I'm the Doctor.
His name is the Doctor.
Doctor what?
I'm the Doctor.
The Doctor. Just the Doctor.
Trust me, I'm the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor. Just the Doctor.
Another somewhat less common mistake is to think the Doctor is a human, just a man with a spaceship.
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous. I'm 903 years old, and I'm the man who's going to save your lives and all 6 billion people on the planet below.
It's bigger on the inside.
Bigger on the inside!
It's bigger on the inside.
I like the bit when someone says it's bigger on the inside.
It's bigger on the inside.
Is it? I noticed.
Why yes, that does look like a plunger with a wire whisk. But don't knock the Daleks. They can be pretty intimidating if you watch the show. The show sees the Doctor fight and defeat many enemies, some of them recurring due to the fact that he is a time traveler. There are other enemies familiar to fans of Doctor Who, like the Cybermen, the Weeping Angels, and the Master, to name a few.
Pond, there's something you better understand about me because it's important, and one day your life may depend on it. I am definitely a madman with a box.
The Doctor travels through all of space and time, seeking to right wrongs and to save lives, and ultimately to find meaning within his own. We see many chances at redemption, and we see him learn that he did in fact save the Time Lords, that he is not the last of his kind, thus continuing his story and giving the Doctor a true purpose in life. First, we will look at the core strengths highlighted in Erik Erikson's stages of development and see how the Doctor has mastered that strength, or we will look for the point in our story where he is faced with the choice to develop the strength. Again, remember that we are only looking at regenerations 10 and 11, Tennant and Smith, which may also include the brief appearance of the War Doctor, played by John Hurt. For non-Whovians, these three men are all portraying the same character, the Doctor, in 3 separate regenerations. Due to the fact that the Doctor is a Time Lord and not a human, he ages differently. At the time the latest episode aired, the Doctor was more than 2,000 years old. As such, the age grouping of Erikson's stages of development will not coincide with the Doctor's age. While we are aware of some aspects of the Doctor's life as a child, because they are so shrouded in mystery, they're better left unexplored for the purpose of this lesson. In the human lifespan, traits that are developed during childhood include a few that the Doctor has already mastered by the time we're introduced to him in 2005. Will is the basis of what forms free will and self-will as we mature. The Doctor, while he holds to laws of time, definitely feels confidence in his free will and the right of others to have it too. When the show was reintroduced in 2005, we saw the Doctor immediately after he had just regenerated. He had just escaped from the Time War, and he was a hard, lonely man. Since our study concentrates on regenerations 10 and 11, we'll simply state that 9 met Rose and slowly realized that he may be able to trust again. When he regenerates into 10, he's a man with far more hope than the Doctor that we first met. It could be said that the Doctor's entire journey is the constant reevaluation of his identity, for his is constantly challenged. Regenerations, the changing of times, different planets, different universes. The Doctor is constantly faced with differing perspectives and trying to identify if he aligns himself with those perspectives and ideals. The Doctor has a firm grasp on the basic strength of fidelity. He displays a defined sense of self. His name encompasses his purpose and serves as a constant reminder, while his actions remain consistent with his statements.
I'm not just a professional, I'm the Doctor.
While the Doctor has often been forced to be alone, he has many people whom he loves, and many that love him back. He has truly gained this strength as he is willing to let Rose go so that she can survive and not have to watch him outlive her. We see him willing to die when Riversong kills him because he loves her. We see his love for Amy and Rory and the heartbreak he experiences when they're taken from him.
Brackety man! Goodbye!
No!
There is, however, the possibility of another viewpoint when considering Erik Erikson's stages of development, more specifically, the areas of love and exclusivity. If you watch Doctor Who, you may quite often find yourself in tears as you see many people giving their lives for the Doctor, saying goodbye to the Doctor, or being separated from the Doctor in some extremely emotionally painful manner. Then, while the viewer is lying in a puddle of tears on the floor, the Doctor squares his shoulders and moves on. Thus, it could be argued that the Doctor is a man, well, he's a Time Lord, that does not truly know how to love. The Doctor has a deep appreciation for his companions, but he fears his lifestyle is not suited for them and makes the decision to abandon them, in some cases without first consulting them. As we see in our presentation, exclusivity is antipathy of love. However, some exclusivity is necessary for intimacy. A person must be able to exclude certain people, activities, and ideas in order to develop a strong sense of identity. It could be argued, however, that the Doctor has a habit of excluding everyone from his life, as evidenced by his long bouts of isolation. If this is the case, the Doctor needs to attempt to develop the ability to love and a healthy understanding of exclusivity. Otherwise, he runs the risk of never truly loving another. Pathological exclusivity would render the Doctor unable to cooperate with others on any level of intimacy, and he would fully dissociate himself from others and their ideas. It is possible the Doctor could be struggling with Erik's intimacy versus isolation period. We see that the Doctor craves companionship and seeks out friends, then undergoes bouts of isolation, leaving his companions behind in favor of traveling alone.
Care is the main staple point within all the traits that the Doctor exhibits. This commitment to protect those he loves, and even on occasion those who he hates, is driven by procreativity. This is perhaps best seen when the Doctor begs the Master to regenerate, willing to forgive and protect him despite the Master's attempt to destroy both the Doctor and humanity. True depth of caring can be seen as a mark of maturation. The Doctor's sheer maturity is displayed within this facet more than any other. Many times he has even been willing to give his own life to protect someone he loves. The Doctor is regarded as one of the wisest beings in the universe, and shares his knowledge with his companions on his journey. In many instances, the Doctor faces death and even obliteration of his existence, yet maintains his composure and his principles, finding a solution. However, there is a regeneration of the Doctor, which is stricken by disdain and sheer cold helplessness. This Doctor is the War Doctor. The War Doctor is introduced as one who has lost hope and thus evidences despair. When we're introduced to him in The Time of the Doctor, he fears that the Time War will never end.
Pretending you didn't exist. Keeping you a secret even from myself.
Next, we move on to Jung's theory regarding archetypes, namely the hero and the shadow. There is an obvious correlation in the hero and shadow archetypes and some of the world's most beloved stories. Many of them have a hero and/or a shadow, and it makes sense. We love the stories that help us to aspire to be something more. We want to believe that we can be that hero, that we are capable of overcoming our shadows. The Doctor certainly fits the criteria for both the hero and shadow archetypes, no matter the regeneration. We see him forced to make choices that seem to have no good answer. An example is that he was forced to make a decision that caused the eruption of Vesuvius at Pompeii, but the only other option was the destruction of the planet. It seems the Doctor's greatest weakness is also one of his strengths, and that is wanting to save the day and also having the power to do so. He is most vulnerable to his shadow self when traveling alone, which is eventually what leads to the 10th Doctor's demise. We see the 10th Doctor willing to relocate an enemy who seeks to destroy the Earth, but when that enemy refuses to leave, he then gives into his darker side and watches as the Arachnus is destroyed. His current companion has to make him leave the area, and we later learn that he would have died had she not done so. Thus, the Doctor's companions help to keep his shadow under control. Throughout the seasons with the 11th Doctor, he was depicted as a great hero, and as a best friend. We see him finally begin to make personal and lasting connections. The Doctor always seems to save the day, even the planets, species, and entire solar system. He even rebooted the universe. Long story. Sadly, even though the Doctor always managed to save hundreds upon thousands of people, he would never stop thinking of the ones he could not save. Either he was too late, or it was a fixed point in time and he wasn't allowed to save them, or the universe would collapse. This Doctor defines the shadow archetype of darkness and repression. He represents the qualities that the Doctor does not wish to acknowledge, but attempts to hide from himself and others. The last personality theory that we would like to highlight is that of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Our little joke at the bottom of the screen is a reference to the fact that we feel like there are some needs that the Doctor may never have met, such as returning to his home planet, because if he were to ever return to his original home, then the story would be over and there would be no more episodes. The hierarchy is shown here in pyramid form so that one can follow the basic trend by which Maslow felt humanity sought to have its needs met. Our basic needs, such as food, water, rest, and sex, form the bottom of the pyramid. Once those needs are met, we seek out security and safety in the form of a home. We then seek to make connections with humanity, forming intimate relationships and making friends. And it is well known that everyone needs to feel a sense of accomplishment and esteem or respect from those around them. The top of the pyramid, which consists of self-actualization, is a step that Maslow felt not many people reached. When one is self-actualized, they feel that they have reached their full potential and are actively contributing to bettering humanity. Since basic needs are almost always met, or implied to have been met, we won't dwell on them a great deal. We don't necessarily see the Doctor sleeping or eating, simply because that would make for a boring show. We do, however, know that he sees the TARDIS as his home, yet he also sees the TARDIS as another being, one who loves him and he loves in return. The episode titled The Doctor's Wife sees the TARDIS take human form, and her last words to him are, "I love you, I love you." Safety includes needs such as security, stability, law and order, and freedom from fear. Since he travels in time and space, security and stability are not always guaranteed. But we do know that the Doctor seems much happier when he has the stability of a companion traveling with him. It is not only obvious that the Doctor seeks to maintain law and order and freedom from fear, but that he firmly believes in the rights of others, human and alien, friend and enemy alike, to have the same. The Doctor is capable of love, even to a great degree. We first see the Doctor as he escapes the Time War, brutalized and seemingly beaten. After all, he thinks he destroyed his own people. He meets Rose, who changes him for the better. He goes from bitter and willing to kill to being willing to offer pardon and freedom to enemies who seek to destroy him. Even though he is a Time Lord, he has no home. and thus it might be said that Earth has become his home. His love for mankind is what keeps him returning to Earth, saving humanity from destruction time and again, even though they remain unaware and thus unappreciative of his efforts. As the Doctor does have periods of isolation, cut off from humanity, from companions, from the world, these usually follow a moment of true heartbreak. Most often, it is after he is forced to say goodbye, and as Riversong says, the Doctor hates endings. Esteem needs make up the fourth tier of Maslow's hierarchy, and include needs such as independence, status, prestige, self-respect, and respect from others. If you know the Doctor's story, then you know he is known the universe over, and respected by all. Yes, in some cases, that respect comes in the form of fear, but that is understandable, given the power of the Doctor. As stated earlier, self-actualization comes when a person has reached their full potential. Some characteristics of a self-actualized person might include the ability to accept themselves and others as they are, motivation based on a strong sense of personal ethics and responsibility, spontaneity, a sense of realism. That is, one is not afraid of something new. They can view things logically and rationally. Surprisingly, a self-actualized person may enjoy solitude and privacy. They love other people, love being around them, but they understand that they need time to themselves. They need time alone to grow and develop. This could explain why the Doctor often has times in which he travels alone. If one watches the show Doctor Who in its entirety, they would see each and every one of the characteristics of self-actualization realized by the time we reach the 50th anniversary special. We see that the Doctor has indeed learned to love, to live, and to let go. Even though he hates endings, he knows when it is time to say goodbye. Each step of his journey, at times exhilarating, at other times heartbreaking, is filled with the Doctor's insistence on being the best that he can possibly be. Lastly, and most importantly, he has learned that the one regret he has always had in his life is not actually a cause for regret, but a cause for hope. His life now has purpose beyond simply traveling and righting wrongs. Now that he has learned the truth about Gallifrey, about the Time Lords, he has hope and he has a true purpose. This is perhaps the greatest indication that the Doctor has reached self-actualization. When we learn that the Doctor's home planet and people are still out there somewhere, we see the Doctor come to a realization. The Doctor has realized that he has always been heading home, but that he is taking the time to make the journey just as important as the destination. The Doctor presents a wonderful escape from reality, where the viewer can be more than human. We can be the Doctor. We can be one of his companions. We can be someone that he rescues. Either way, the Doctor is presented as a true hero. He is not perfect. He makes mistakes. He loses many people that he loves, but still he perseveres, still trying to teach mankind all that there is to know about the vastness of the universe and all that we are capable within it. We get the sense that even though we may only be a speck in the universal scheme of things, we can still make a difference. It has been a learning experience to see how the Doctor, who is not human, can teach us so much about humanity, about our personalities and potential. Thank you for watching our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed making it. Check out links provided below for some awesome fan-made videos that can give you an even greater sense of the character known as the Doctor.